After weeks of road tripping, I had already traveled through Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and Illinois. Man, this list is just getting longer. In the last episode, I saw a full-scale party in Nashville, had a horrible KFC experience in Kentucky, and almost lost my life in a bathtub. This episode will include my adventures in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and South Dakota, such as visiting the school my father had attended over 20 years ago, driving 6 hours directly into the sun, being the first guest of an Airbnb in the middle of South Dakota, and many more. Well, my dear subscribers, I'm afraid this is going to be the penultimate episode of the 10,000 Mile series. I had a lot of fun making these videos and was very happy to relive those precious memories. But as you can see, the route is almost complete. However, the good news is my journey is far from over. So if you want to support this channel and to hear the stories from all over the world, subscribe, comment, and like. It all helps out. Back to the story. The first Wisconsin city I went to was Milwaukee, 90 minutes drive from Chicago. The Airbnb I lived in was over 100 years old, and I'm not even kidding you, its basement came straight out of a horror movie. There were creepy dolls, one functioning light bulb, broken dartboard, and a defunct tanning bed. It couldn't get better than this, except there was actually someone living down here. I didn't do much in Milwaukee other than spending some time with the host, learning the local history, finishing my side job. I dedicated all of my time focusing on grocery shopping, cooking, and eating. Gotta say, I kinda nailed that roast drumstick recipe, all juicy and tender. I couldn't have enough of it. Also, I caught my first firefly by accident. I thought it was just some random bug before I realized it was actually glowing. Seeing life leaving its tiny body bit by bit saddened me greatly. It kind of reminded me of that movie called Grave of the Fireflies. I buried it in the front yard the next morning. When I was in Milwaukee, I went on a day trip to the University of Wisconsin-Madison. About 20 years ago, my father came here as a visiting scholar and spent several months in that school. Needless to say, I grew up hearing stories about this place, and here I was, roaming this huge campus. It was an enormous school. There was a lake right by the lecture hall, a gym that was once an artillery, and beautiful trails in the forest. I also found the dorm my father and his friends used to live in. It was a building called Saxony, and about 20 years ago they were living on the 4th or 5th floor, hypothetically one of these rooms. So if you happen to live here or go to UW-Madison, let me know your thoughts on this place. I left Milwaukee the next day and arrived in the northernmost city of my road trip, Minneapolis. By the time I stepped out of the car, I could barely stand. The drive took me 7 hours. I was so exhausted, my whole body was shivering. Thankfully, the Airbnb I booked was extremely relaxing and had a special heating vibe to it. There was a lot of green in the house and even a small fountain in my room. I couldn't ask for a better place to stay. I crossed the bridge and had dinner at a restaurant nearby. It took a while for my food to show up, and the waitress gave me a free beer as an apology. I was deeply impressed by how considerate she was. In other cities, even if they messed up your order, they wouldn't give a damn. But here in Minneapolis, people gave a damn about petty things like this. I know I would have to check out Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, but there's one tiny problem though. I couldn't drive 9 hours or 600 miles in one day. It was a bit overwhelming for me. After all, driving alone was never the safest thing to do in the world. So I decided to find somewhere in between to spend the night. I opened the map on Airbnb and started searching, until my eyes were caught by something like this. New host promotion program. Special offer, 20% off. I clicked that listing right away and read her top-notch description carefully. That room was in a city called Pierre, right in the center of South Dakota. I had never heard of that city before. It looked pretty small on the map. And if I made the reservation, I would be the first Airbnb guest of that room, taking its virginity. And that sounded interesting to me. So after about 5 seconds of consideration, I booked that place. The next day, I bid farewell to Minneapolis, had a quick lunch right before I entered the highway, and started driving fast for the first time. The drive once again took me about 7 hours, but it was super straightforward, like literally. I put the car on cruise almost the entire time, sang at least 20 songs. listened to podcasts and left everything else to I-90. Because basically, I only needed to make one 90-degree turn at a place called Vivian. That was it.
Easy peasy, Japanese.
However, there's one thing I need to mention about I-90. If you are driving west in the afternoon or east in the morning, you better get ready for that unforgiving sun, because it will demolish your eyes and skin if you're not well prepared. That's actually why I remember that 90-degree turn so vividly, because it made everything better. The sky returned to its original color, the sun was no longer scorching, and I could finally see things properly. There were several surprises waiting for me in Pierre. The first surprise was Pierre itself. As it turned out, Pierre is in fact the state capital of South Dakota. It is a city of great significance. The second surprise was that Airbnb I chose to stay randomly. It was the best Airbnb I had ever had in the whole wide world. I really need to shout out to this great lady Joan. Her entire family, puppies included, went out of their way to make me feel at home. The room was spacious. It not only had a huge TV, private bathroom, a fridge, but also had a coffee machine, and it costed less than $44 per night. In addition to this wonderful room, Joan also prepared me some complimentary dinner after seeing how exhausted I was. I couldn't be more thankful for her help and decided to extend my stay. So if you are road tripping in that region and are looking for a place to stay, please check out Joan's place. She's wonderful. Pierre is also next to Missouri River. I spent some time at the riverbank and flew my drone. On the next day, I went to an auto repair shop, changed the oil, relaxed, and made some food. When the sun was setting, I drove to a dam nearby. It was supposed to be a very relaxing drive, enjoying the afternoon breeze and stuff, but my life was full of accidents. While I was driving towards the dam with the window rolled down, a huge bug, twice the size of a beetle, landed on my left arm, and it crawled all the way to my armpit in less than 2 seconds. Everything happened so sudden, I didn't even know if it was a wasp, a grasshopper, or anything poisonous. I calmed myself down quickly and decided not to make any sudden movements until it came out. It was a passive strategy, but it worked. Anyway, the trip to the dam wasn't completely damned. The view was pretty incredible. There was a huge mysterious structure in the middle of the water, and I had no idea what that was. After that, I walked down this trail, found some grasshoppers, and drove back. Joan prepared some fried walleye and microwave corn for me, and we spent the evening chatting, drinking coffee. Once again, if you're ever gonna travel to South Dakota, stay at Joan's place. I need to stop this part of the story here. After an intense amount of recollection, I changed my mind of squeezing Wyoming and Idaho into this episode, because a lot had happened in those two states. So in the next episode, I will cover the rest of my adventures in South Dakota and adventures in Wyoming, Idaho, Nevada, and back to California. Thank you for watching. If you want to support this channel, subscribe, comment, and like would be very helpful. If you have any questions, you can either leave a comment or hit me up on my Instagram at JingWuShow. The next part will be out as soon as possible. Bye.